So I just got out of Midnight Special. Well, I got out a couple hours ago. I've been driving home. I went to the Saturday morning show. It opened yesterday. Well, I guess the day before there was a preview screening. But it's doing New York, Los Angeles, and then Austin, and a few other theaters. First of all, I don't understand this release schedule with Midnight Special. I guess it was announced as a wide release March 18th, and now it's like 3 theaters in the world, can you show it. I don't know what's going on. It's a lot. It's a few more theaters than that, but it seems like a few theaters in Los Angeles, a few theaters in New York, 1 theater in Austin, Texas, the Alamo Drafthouse downtown Lamar, which is in South by Southwest mode. I mean, it's a little South by Southwesty, but they do have Midnight Special, all of the posters lined up in a nice row in the hall, and they've got the Drafthouse recommends, right next to the rows of Hardcore Harry posters. But I don't know. I mean, I worry because it's like this weekend's March 18th, and then next weekend's going to be Batman v Superman and My Big Fat Greek Wedding 2 and Zootopia still. And where is Midnight Special come into this? I don't know. All I can tell you is that Midnight Special is a hell of a film. It's a film about this mysterious young kid, Alden, who's been essentially kidnapped by his father, Michael Shannon. Michael Shannon, my God, the best actor alive and working today, the best of the best with Michael Shannon. And so this is a kind of a cross-country trip across the United States in the trying to avoid the cops and the FBI and the government that is after this special kid with special powers, and then also trying to avoid the followers of this mysterious ranch where the kid came from. Which is really wonderful, which is somewhere between like David Koresh and FLDS, mainly FLDS in the way that their adherents, the way that their women dress in these kind of like bright colored dresses with the hair. I mean, it's total FLDS type of thing. Very, and Sam Shepard has a relatively small role. I don't have to give it much away, as the leader of this mysterious ranch, the ranch. I'm reminded of when trying to talk about the film, and I'm going to avoid spoilers because this is such a good movie. I'm still thinking about it. In fact, I want to go back to it. I went to the 1040 show. As I said, I went to the morning show because I wanted to avoid the rush. But now I'm thinking about, man, I gotta go to the night show as well. I wanted to avoid the South by Southwest crowd, and I pretty much did, but I'm like, I gotta go back and see it. It's a beautiful film. A beautiful film. It's Spielberg in a way that Spielberg can't pull off anymore. I know that sounds horrible, but it's a film which evokes those great films of the 70s and the 80s, those great science fiction films. Some people have thrown out Firestarter, as this is kind of like that type of no. Well, maybe if it was Firestarter as maybe a John Carpenter, but it's not like a John Carpenter feel. It really ultimately is not Spielberg or anything. It's this guy Jeff Nichols, who is a great young American director who has been doing these films which evoke this kind of rural American, feeling, and in this film is full-blown sci-fi, but, the vibe of something like Mud. I've not seen Take Shelter, but it's just, you get into his kind of, the way he lays stuff out is really beautiful and wonderful. And I just, how do I explain this film? You know, in the movie, there's this representative from the ranch, one of these young women who talk about the things that Alden showed her rather, and she says it wasn't images as much as a feeling that he gave me, and that's how I would describe Midnight Special. It's not one thing. It's just this overall tone. The performances, Michael Shannon. What is this? The fourth film he's done with Jeff Nichols. He's like Jeff Nichols, key actor, a key conspirator, and he just pulls off this incredible performance. And then the core of the film is ultimately this relationship between this father and son, and this father who ultimately feels like he has to just give up part of his son, part of his self, which is his son, to something greater. I mean, a beautiful message and a beautiful idea within the context of a science fiction story, and a wonderful science fiction story, and a wonderful film full of mystery and mysterious things, and I thought but before I walked in the movie, I thought I had it figured out, because Close Encounters of the Third Kind, mysterious coordinates, geo coordinates, the Devil's Peak, and all that. But it's something different. I mean, the end of Midnight Special has a kind of it does have a Close Encounters type of, Richard Dreyfuss going inside the spaceship moment. It does have that. Is that giving away too much? I don't know. And I don't know if you're a Close Encounters freak. All this stuff is going to be running through your head. Is what's the ending going to be? But I think Jeff Nichols pulls it off. Whereas, remember in the director's cut of Close Encounters, where you go, this is just, we're just standing around inside this fucking spaceship for an hour. It's like annoying. Somehow it's not even that the special effects are more advanced. I mean, so, you might be able to blow holes in some of the special effects in this film, but I don't know, the overall just tone of it, and the young kid who plays Alden is so great. He even kind of looks like a bit of a mix of Michael Shannon and Kirsten Dunst, who plays the mother. He almost looks like that. So it's very, and they make quite a interesting movie family there. Adam Driver is great in the film as the little NSA analyst, the gawky, comic relief. Though it seems like it seems he's again kind of the parallel to the Bob Balaban character in Close Encounters, right? Okay, but at least I think Bob Balaban's character was a little more smarter, because he was able to figure out the geo coordinates in a much quicker time than Adam Driver's Sevier was. But I love the film. I love the film that there's some mysterious elements to it, and that it's not all explained really. But I could see why that would make somebody like Warner Brothers nervous, because I know this is going to be a film where if you're watching it with somebody who's not keyed into this kind of rural mysticism, coming of age stuff of Jeff Nichols, if you've watched his other films, they're going to be elbowing you throughout how did they do, who is she, where are they, what is this? It's going to be one of those films where if you've got somebody who's just not kind of keyed into it and just kind of getting into the emotional core, that we've got a father and a son and a mother and a child who is going through some incredible stuff, that is a little bit bigger than some of the rudimentary plot mechanics, which I think Jeff Nichols has jettisoned and I think rightfully so, jettisoned. It doesn't make the film make less sense. It just makes it move. It moves. And the film is 126 minutes, but it moves. It moves. I mean, it's a little over 2 hours, and it's one of those movies where you're at the edge of your seat right till the end, and the end shot, which is just beautiful, and it just ends, and it's just it's great. It's great. I can't say enough about the film. I've already probably said too much, but great film. Midnight Special, great movie. It's almost not as it's not a rip-off, or it's not a clone of those Close Encounters, late 70s, early 80s type science. It feels like almost like the child of those. It's like the evolution of those, and like children, sometimes they have the characteristics of the people they came from, and sometimes the children are better and great and accomplish great things, and that's what I think Midnight Special does. It just accomplishes great things. I love it. I'm just almost speechless. I don't even know what more to say. All the actors in it are great. They all have little moments. They move the story forward. They're just and like in Mud, it's not like they'll have these big characters, the parents, but really the through point, you just see these little characters, like, in a weaker story, you'd want to bring back the Sam Shepard character and have him do all this stuff and everything. No. It just moves. It moves. Also, some great action set pieces. Some great stuff when you're at the edge of your seat, as I said. What's going to happen? Where are they going to go? Great. I don't want to spoil anything. Midnight Special, great movie. I think it's going to get trounced by Batman v Superman. Word of mouth. This film was sold as a big this is a big studio film, I just don't know why this thing has to disappear like this. Oh yeah, one more thing. The Alamo Drafthouse pre-show for this film is great. If you go to see it, if you go to see a Midnight Special in an Alamo Drafthouse, probably throughout the United States, you're going to see the same pre-show, I think, hopefully. And this pre-show rules. Well, what I mean by pre-show is the Alamo and other theaters, when you walk in, that they show advertisements, local advertisements and crap. Other theaters do that. Instead, the Alamo Drafthouse shows like this pre-show of short films, clips from movies, music videos, and they were showing all of these clips from films like the Bionic Kid, and all of these kids with superpowers. I can't remember all the great clips. But one clip they played was, they even played the entire music video for Midnight City from M83, which, when you think about the plot of that music video and then Midnight Special, makes sense. And speaking of Midnight, I still didn't really get the reason why the film is called Midnight Special. I don't know. Maybe I'm being dim. There was never really like, oh, let's go to the Midnight Special, or they don't play Creedence Clearwater's Revival's Midnight Special. I don't know why it's called Midnight Special. They're at night, and the kid's up at night, and it's special. I don't know. They got a little gun, and that's a Midnight Special. I thought that was a Saturday Night Special. There's a Leonard Skinner song called Mr. Saturday Night Special, right? I don't know. I have no clue. But what else do you call the movie? Kid with superpowers? What do you call it? The movie? You got to call it something. Midnight Special. That almost feels like a Warner Brothers title or something. I don't know. But the film feels like a Warner Brothers film. Is that weird for me to say? I don't know. I look at it, I was like, that looks like a film from Warner Brothers, because it has that kind of teal color scheme and its scope, and it feels good. It feels like that Warner Brothers title on the logo on the front of the film. It makes sense, I don't know. That sounds maybe that makes no sense, but I don't know. Anyway, random observations.